Hi everyone, welcome back. Another tutorial for you. Right, I was up. I hung all the artwork in the pub at the bar. I hung everything up. It looks great, and I recorded some of the event for you. I just kind of walked around and I recorded, look some of the paintings on the wall, show you the venue where it's on, and I just kind of made a short little couple of clips, little video just for you, just to show you where they are and the area, that type of thing. So I put a couple of clips together for you just to take a look. So go and take a look at that, and when we come back we are going to paint a lovely autumn scene with a little mist in the distance. So it's something nice and simple, but effective, okay? And I'm going to use a very long wide canvas, so I'm going to show you that. This is what we're going to use. Now look at that nice wide canvas. I'm not sure the size actually. I think it's 24 inches by 8, I think. I could be, no, I think that's what it is. 24 inches by 8, something along those lines. So it's a very wide panoramic picture, okay? I've no colours yet. I'm going to put the picture that we're painting up on the screen on this side, and I'm going to put my palette here, as you can see. So yeah, nice long wide canvas, look at that. We're going to have a bit of fun painting this. So I said I'd try this for you because you were asking me about mist, creating mist in the painting. So I thought, why not try this? Okay, so yeah, that's the plan for today. So look, go off and take a look at the clip I put together for you. It's only a couple of minutes long, and see what you think. Everything hanging up, and come back and join me then, and we'll have fun with this painting here. Here we are, Hench's Bar in St. Luke's, and a lovely area of Cork City, the north side of Cork. So it's a beautiful big bar. Look at all these lovely flowers they have outside. It's a wonderful, wonderful bar. And the big banner up overhead there, Hench's annual art exhibition. So I'm going to head away in now, and I'm going to show you what the story is inside. And I'm in charge of hanging one big room full of art. And it's voluntary. I told them I'd give them a hand. Because they need a lot of hands on deck for this. So this entire area here now has to be filled with artwork, and this is only half of the bar. There's still another half down around the back. So I'm in charge of hanging all this wall here now, filling this wall with loads and loads of artwork, and you can see the artwork has started to arrive. You can see it there on the chairs. Lots and lots and lots of different types of artwork, different shapes, different sizes, landscapes, abstract, you name it. And this is all from just local artists, including myself. There's so much talent up around the north side of Cork. It's unbelievable. And of course you can see my own. I was a bit cheeky and I found a nice spot for my own too, so I stuck them up on the wall very early on. There's another one there. I should have room to hang what I want to hang. I brought up 4. I might only have room for 2 or 3. It all depends on how much artwork is actually here. So we'll see as we go. So basically I'm going to go around now and start hanging all of this work. Now there's lots and lots and lots of wall space. There's a couple of different rooms. There's some lovely lighting in some of the rooms, some spotlights here and there. So I'm going to show you all of this before, and I'm going to show you it when it's finished as well, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So yeah, there's some very big paintings here as well, and of course there is some small miniature artworks, and they're quite cute as well, I suppose you could say. Now we're heading around to the other side of the bar. Lots more wall space here, tons and tons of artworks to be hung. Lots of different paintings. Some of these are absolutely gorgeous, they really are. So I will try my best to get as many hanging as I can. That's a nice one, I like that. Now I'm doing a voiceover today on this because it's quite noisy up there, people talking and that type of thing, and the camcorder does pick up a lot of background noise. So I thought I would just do a voiceover, and I think that's better. You can hear me much more clearly, and I'm not worried about people giving me funny looks and all that kind of thing. So I said a voiceover is probably better. So now this is very early in the morning, so we're still waiting on more people to come in to help out with the hanging. But we should have all of this done by the end of the day. I am hopeful. I shall try and get as much as I can done. So yeah, some nice artwork here. And I suppose it's nice that you can join me for the journey. Excuse me, I'm coughing here. I have a tickle in the back of my throat here, just will not go away. And it's quite annoying. So yeah, I'll bring you back down now and back around. And we'll see. I will then show you everything hanging up. And here we are, everything is hanging up. I got as much as I could on the wall. And look at that, isn't that a lovely display? Look at all those lovely colours, so much variety up there. And I just went for it. I tried to put as much as I can up on the wall, filling in all the tiny little gaps. And I think it turned out very, very well. And there we are, look at that. So if you're someone looking for a piece of art, you will definitely find something to suit your taste here. And there's my one, look. Isn't that lovely? The shaky bridge. And also the other two, Dark Edges and Ballycotton Lighthouse. And I managed to get my other one hanging just down at the end, down there. That lovely monochrome painting that we did. So yeah, let's hope these sell and make money for the charity. It's all for a good cause, isn't it? So yes, thank you so much for joining me. I hope we have a couple of sales. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's head back to the studio and get some painting done and have some fun. So I will see you very, very shortly. So welcome back to the studio. I hope you enjoyed that. Now that was lovely, wasn't it? A nice tour of the bar with all the artwork hanging up, and let's hope we get a couple of sales. Alright, so thank you for joining me on that, and I'll keep you updated as I go. I'll tell you if something sells and whatnot. So, can you hear those dogs out there? God above. I'll explain to you my colours, and I have a lovely palette here today now, a nice colourful palette. I have titanium white, Naples yellow, Nathal crimson or alizarin crimson will do fine, cadmium red, I have cobalt blue, burnt umber, lamp black, a little phaylo blue in case I need it. I don't think I will, to be honest, but it's there just in case I do want a little bit, and some cadmium yellow pale. So that's my palette for today, and I'm going to put this picture on your screen now. As you can see it there, that lovely soft kind of a misty background off in the distance, and some nice colourful trees in front here then. Now I'm going to bring the reflections out that little bit more, I think, just to show you, and we can also add a little couple of extra branches coming down into the painting as well, but just as a reference I think this is nice. So without further ado, let's grab our brushes and have some fun with this. I have with me some turpentine in a jar. A little turpentine, nothing else, just turpentine. No linseed oil or anything like that. I use pretty much this on its own most of the time. And I have a big jar of brushes. Lots of different, look, all flat brushes mostly. One or two round ones, a couple of soft ones for blending, and that's it. So I will start today with my stubby brush, my large green stubby brush. And they're getting very famous. I'm going to be putting my name on these brushes, I can tell you, pretty soon. Right, here we go. Now I bought this canvas in Aldi, I think it was Aldi's here in Cork, and it's not something that you could get anywhere. It's very kind of a one-off type of a size. It's very, very long and narrow. If you don't have something like this, anything that's just a nice wide canvas will do just fine. So let's have a go at this. Right, pencil. I'm going to need a pencil. I'm just going to mark the horizon line. So where the sky meets the water or the land, whichever the case may be, I come down just below the bottom half, just below the midway point on the canvas, okay? Just below the middle. Just a little reference line just across there. I don't know if you can see it or not. I was going to mask it off with some masking tape, but I don't think I will, because I'm going to make this very misty and soft, and it'll almost disappear into the sky. So, brushes, let's go. I'm going to dip this into the turpentine and I'm going to show you what I'm doing, okay? Just this once, just so you can see. I'm dipping it in, so it's now soaking wet. Isn't it? It's soaking wet. Then I'm going to just dry it on my tissue to soak off the excess, and it's just damp then. That's how I do all my painting, okay? Just a damp brush. Now we have a very kind of a subtle light colour. There's a hint of yellow in it just here in the centre. That could be the light source. So I'm going to take a touch of Naples yellow. A little touch on the corner of the brush, and lots of white. So I want just a very pale kind of glow just in the centre. And you can see now this is quite thin and very, very thin and creamy. But when you go into the white, it makes it much thicker again. So I just want to go for a very whitey cream colour, and I'm going to put that just in the centre here, just around there, like so. That'll do, job done. I'm cleaning my brush on my tissue again, giving it a good scrub like that. And then I'm going to go into, now this canvas is well primed, it's a lovely canvas, so it's very, very smooth. I didn't prime this canvas at all. That's the way it was when I bought it. So you can see it's lovely and smooth. I'm just using a bit of turpentine to soften that paint. Now I'm going to go for a kind of a grey, a very pale grey, kind of a blue, perhaps. So let's just, a simple grey, some black, plenty of white. Now it's going to be a very, very pale, whitey kind of a grey. Very, very pale, so there's plenty of white in this. And if you feel that's a bit thick, and it is a little bit thick, I'll just dip the corner of my brush into the turpentine very quickly, just the corner. I only want to take up a tiny, tiny drop of turpentine. So I'm just going to the edge, dipping it in gently, and that's probably even enough. Let's try this now. Put this on, a very, very pale grey. Now every time I'm going into my white, I'm taking a touch of turpentine because the white is very, very thick. It really, really is very thick. And that thickens the paint up very quickly when you go into the white like that. So I want my paint to kind of flow around nicely on the canvas. So I will kind of dip into the turpentine every now and again, just a little. Now as we come over here further, I want to just add a touch of blue. I think cobalt. A touch of cobalt. And when I say a touch, I mean only literally just a touch from the corner of the paint. A touch. So you can see now it's a bit more blue in the grey. And I'm going to soften that all the way along here. I'm going to soften this gently into the light area. But I'm not going to go right through it completely. I do want to keep this kind of area a little on the light side. Then I'm going to sit back, have a look. Yes, I'm happy with that. And let's darken it slightly here. Let's take a touch of blue and a very small touch of black. And I'm literally only just dabbing the black just on one or two hairs. Okay, that's the little, it's only a tiny, tiny amount. It really, really is. I'm only just going into the corner of the paint with the brush. And it's very, very, I put on very, very thin coats very early on, and that allows the later stage of the later paint to stick properly, and it doesn't become one big mess. I'm going to take a touch of Natal Crimson, just a touch. Just add a little touch of warmth up there in that corner. That's nice, I'm pretty happy with that. And as we come over here, I'm going to, let me just put that grey across here now just for a moment. I'm going to start adding some trees in here. Very, very pale trees. And I suppose I could probably just use this brush for that really. I can see a little bank of trees off in the distance here. Very, very, very pale trees. So for that, bearing in mind it's autumn, I'm going to take, in fact, you know what I did forget? I forgot one very important colour. Do you know what it is? Come on now, you should know this. And what's a very good autumn colour? Yes, burnt sienna. I forgot my burnt sienna. Aren't I just silly? So let's go into a little burnt sienna. And you can see it's very thin. I'm only using little bits of colour at a time. I think a lot of people are under the misconception that when you're using oil paint or when you're doing an oil painting, typically they think that people go right into lots of thick paint. Traditionally that is the way to paint, but this is my way of painting, and I'm in charge of my own painting. I can paint whichever way I like, so this is the way I paint, and that's the view you should have, whatever makes you happy. So burnt sienna, a little white, a little dab of white there, a little touch of Naples yellow, and I'm thinking, let me see, a little touch of cadmium yellow, only a touch, and I might try this off in the distance first and see. I'm just going to dab in a kind of a circular shape to get the tree line in just there, okay? This brush is just perfect now for this kind of work. And let's pick up a touch of that crimson colour, that pinky colour. Add a touch of that in there. I'm mixing all these now, and this is quite dry now. This paint is practically no thinners in this. It's very, very dry. But I'm putting on a thin layer then, do you understand? I'm not putting on a lot of paint. So my next layer then will stick to this much, much better. So let's just go along now with this colour, move it along. And I think I might start adding some yellow into this. Little touch of yellow in there. Let's put a touch of that in. Dab, 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 all the way along. Now I want to create a misty effect in the distance, so in the distance, so I'm not kind of going too strong with these colours. I do want them quite kind of soft, because they're very, very far away and there's a lot of fog and stuff like that around. So I'm keeping these quite soft now. Lovely soft colour and a lot of white in this colour. So I'm going to go along here now at the edge, just with a little touch of white, and I'm going to help sort of soften those in, just on the tip of the brush, creating that nice kind of misty effect. And you can see them almost disappearing now, can't you? Disappearing off into the distance. Let's take a look at that now. That's nice, I like that. I am going to add a touch of grey into kind of a nice grey colour. A warm grey, so let's take a touch of blue, a touch of the crimson and some white. Just to give it more depth, I'm going to add some blue, and blue will always push everything off into the distance. So I have a kind of a mauve colour, we could say. It's a kind of a light mauve. Let's put a little bit of that in there. And the pinks will complement those browns as well. Isn't that lovely now? And this brush is fantastic for this. You should really try and get a hold of some of these brushes. They're fantastic. I can get them to you if you want them. But they're nice to fit into the cup of your hand just nicely like that, and you can really kind of have a bit of fun with them, you know. Now, going along, let's soften these away off. Soften them almost into that kind of sky, that misty sky colour. Soften them away in. Very gently dabbing. Dab, 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 dab. So now you can see it. Nice, soft effect. Isn't that lovely? We have a row of trees popping up here and there. I'm going to take a small pointy brush, very, very small pointy brush, and I'm going to go into that mauve colour. That would probably do fine. I'm thinking, should I take maybe a touch of yellow? I think I'll try a touch of cadmium yellow in there, just to make it slightly kind of a mucky green colour. But it's a distant colour, and I'm going to suggest some little tree trunks off in the distance. So just very light suggestions of just little flicks with the brush. Don't be too particular with this, okay? Just have a bit of fun. This is supposed to be fun after all, isn't it? There we go. Can you follow that? A couple of flicks here and there. Then what I'm going to do is put a little tiny touch of foliage on those, and for that I'm going to use my medium stubby brush. And I'm going to go back into that same colour, and this is very, very thin colour I'm using now. There's very little of colour on this at all, if anything at all. Take a touch of yellow, and let's just very gently dab. I think the secret to this is just to not have too much paint on your brush. It's very, very dry, and there's only a touch of paint on the very tip of the bristles, because I only want to put on a tiny amount of paint onto these trees. Yeah, just dabbing. Now if you don't have one of these, just any old worn brush which is very kind of splayed outwards will do fine. It's just to give it a little touch of texture, that's all, in the distance. And you can soften the tree trunks down then as well. So you see, already we have lovely mist, a soft misty scene off in the distance. So we have a little bank, a little river bank coming along here. I'm going to put that brush down, and I'm going to take another small brush, a flat brush. A small flat, any size at all will do fine really. This is a size 12 or a size 10, a size 8, whichever you're more comfortable with. And I'm going to put a little bank in just off in the distance there. For that, I'm going to keep it cool, so I'm going to go with some cobalt blue. Again, a dry brush, some Naples yellow, and I'm thinking a touch of burnt umber perhaps. And it's a nice rich thick creamy colour. Now let me just try this, and we can change it then if we want. I think perhaps a touch of cadmium red into this, the smallest little amount. I want to keep the colour warm, you see, and I'm going to dab that just the way they're off into the distance, and I'm dabbing it up into those trees. I'm almost softening the colour up very, very, very gently, okay? And when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about mist. I'm thinking mist, mist, mist all of the time. So in other words, soften the colours together, and it works. If you think about it in your head, it will work. So I'm softening all this now, creating lovely mist. Look at that. And then I'm going to make it dark just at the bottom. A touch of black and a touch of burnt umber. I'm just going to put a little tiny dab of dark colour just along the bank. because it will be darker across the bank, won't it? Naturally. There we go, look at that. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. So we're getting there, aren't we? Isn't that lovely? Now I'm thinking I might bring the bank, let me show you. Now it's not on the photograph, but I might bring the bank, the river bank, around like this, okay? Out like that. Back in like this, perhaps. What about something like that? And we can get some nice reflections, or maybe even go back a bit further with it. We could go back here. Like that, yes? Let's try it. So I'm going to start filling in this now with more foliage, and they're going to start getting darker and darker and darker. I think I'll bring this colour around, so I'm just going to dampen my brush very, very, very gently, and I'll be good to some Naples yellow. I'll take some cobalt blue, I'll take some cadmium yellow, so we have a green, and then I'm going to take a little burnt umber, and that'll make a dirty kind of a colour, won't it? Now that's quite wet, so I'm going to dry my brush, take off that, and add more colour, make it that bit thicker. Burnt umber, cadmium yellow, touch of cobalt blue. And let's try that. Coming along here then like this. How's that? Now also I want to make this very dark, because we're going to have some lovely highlights on top of this later. So I'm going to take some black, I'm going to take some burnt sienna, and I'm going to go along here, dab that colour along. Now it's mostly black in this. Let's take a touch of cadmium red, look. Let's warm it up slightly. Why not? It's an autumn scene, let's make it nice and colourful as it comes closer to us. Dab, 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 dab. Having lots of fun. Let's go into some yellow. Plenty of thick yellow now on your brush. A touch of cadmium red. That'll give us a nice warm colour. And as it goes off into the distance, I'm going to take a touch of Naples yellow and just soften it back off in there, look. And it's almost disappearing again, isn't it? So lovely and soft again. Now I'm going to come up further with this. A little bit. There, that's a bit better. So some distant trees. So let's get some foliage now, and we'll use the same brush again. Now if your brush is fairly new, it's probably going to look like this, isn't it? That's not a bad brush, we could use that as well. Or if it's really worn, you could use that, and that'll give you some lovely effects as well. So I'm thinking we'll just stick with this, or we could use this. It doesn't really matter, does it? Let's go with, so what, we'll start with a new fresh brush, because my brush is dirty. So with this dry brush now, I'm not going to wet the brush because the canvas is already damp. I'm going to go into some cadmium yellow, and the brush is very, very soft because it's fairly new. And let me show you how I kind of work with a new fresh soft brush. Cadmium yellow and some cadmium red. Let's take a touch of Naples yellow as well, and let's just start putting in. I'm using the corner of the brush. Do you want me to zoom in? Let me zoom in here and I'll show you. Okay? I'm using the corner of the brush, and I'm kind of leaning slightly to one side. You see that? And I'm going backwards and forwards. In and out, in and out. See? And then I'm going to soften that colour into the colour behind. Just soften it away off. Get lighter and lighter and lighter until this disappears. Now let's add a touch of green in here. Let's take a touch of cobalt and we can mix it into the colour we just had, and let's add a touch of green. Here and there. Let's go a bit darker again. Let's put a touch of green on the top here, coming down into the painting. Look at that. I'm just using the corner of the brush here, that's all I'm doing. Now let's leave it at that. That looks quite good, doesn't it? Let's start getting darker. Let's take some burnt sienna. We could go with some burnt sienna just on its own. And again, we'll soften that back into the painting very slightly. And we soften it up into the green. And let's put some real dark colour at the bottom of that. I picked up some dark greeny black I had on my palette, and let's just go along the end of that there, okay? And soften it up into that colour here and there. Nice and easy, look. Dab, 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 that's all I'm doing. Now, let me zoom back slightly for you so you can see, give you a better idea. I'll take some cadmium yellow with some burnt sienna on its own, lots of thick paint, okay, just on the tip of the brush. I didn't mix it too much. And let's get some of that nice rich autumn colour across there like that. Look at that. That's a lovely colour, isn't it? And I want to get very dark in here. I'm going to take some burnt sienna, some black, believe it or not, and a touch of yellow. And I want to get really dark in here. And let's try some burnt umber. Sure, why not? Let's try it. Let's take a touch of red. Let's put a splash of red in there. It's autumn, you're going to see all these colours everywhere you go. Reds, browns, bits of green here and there. Oranges. Let's put an orange in there. Some cadmium yellow, cadmium red. Let's put a nice warm colour in here. There. Now let's zoom back very, very slightly so you can see again. There we go. That's quite nice. Now at this stage I'm going to put some stalks. Let's take a small brush again with some turpentine, some burnt umber, nothing else, and make a little wet colour there, just nice watery colour. It'll go over the thicker paint much easier if it's a little thinner. Let's put a couple of stalks in, just here and there, look. A couple of branches. Very, very simple. Okay? Don't be too worried that it's going to look terrible. Just pick up, brush up and go for it. If you make a mistake, you can just dab back over it again with your big brush. Alright, don't worry. And it's nice to see that you're all getting some nice hints and tips from my paintings. I do endeavour to show you the basics of oil painting as I see it. It may not necessarily be the right way of doing it, but that's how I do it, and I think it's helping all of you people out there, isn't it? In little ways, I'm sure. So we have some stalks done. Let's take a touch of Naples yellow on the tip of our brush and give them a little touch of highlight here and there. Just a touch, look, a little flick, just like so. Now that we have that done, I am going to add some highlights. And I'm thinking, could I go with a smaller brush perhaps? We'll go with a smaller brush for the highlights. Let me show you the brushes I have. Look at this. And that's an endless selection of brushes now, isn't it? For me anyway. What to do, what to do. That's a quite nice one. Okay, I think I'll go with this. It's a size 10, flat, soft, synthetic, very splayed out. You see it? Very, very splayed. And I'm going to just put thick paint on this now, no thinners. Okay, no thinners whatsoever. Let's go into some cadmium yellow. There's a touch of red on that already, but that's fine. Plenty of white. And we have a nice whitey, bright, luminous yellow there now, don't we? And I'm pushing it onto the tip of the brush, okay? I'm pushing the paint onto the tip. So my tips are full. And let's just pick out some nice highlights around here and there. Let's try this, okay? Oh, a couple there. And put a couple around there. I won't go mad, just a few. Let's put a couple around here on these brown ones. Couple of dabs here and there. But if that's getting dirty, I'm going to just rub the tissue, kitchen towel, rub the tip of my brush to take that dirty colour off, and go back into some fresh colour again. A little touch of white, a little touch of the cadmium yellow, with the red in it, and let's go back up here, and add a couple of dabs. A couple of small dabs. At the bottom of those tree trunks, let's sit those down. Put a couple along there. Okay, I'll clean my brush again. Let's try some Naples yellow with some red. That's a nice combination, isn't it? Let's try a couple here. And I'm going through and painting over some of those tree trunks just here and there, because there's a lot of foliage there, isn't there? So let's just go over them like that. So how's that looking now so far? That is not bad, is it? These now will be in the distance. We're going to have big trees covering these very, very shortly. Next, I'm going to cover some of this with some nice, colourful grasses and that type of thing. Let's go to a fan brush. Nice and simple, nice easy fan brush. I'm going to take out some yellow from my palette because I've run out of yellow. Cadmium yellow. Take a little of that. And now, dry brush again, because this is, it's only just barely wet, okay? It's just damp and it's very thin. So nice thick paint now on this. Dry brush, let's take some cadmium yellow with a touch of the red and plenty of white. Nice bright colour. Can you see that on the tip of your fan brush? And it's just dabbed very gently. Dab, 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 dab. Off into the distance. Okay, softening that up into those colours. And this creates lovely grass, lovely grassy textures. And I'm trying to keep this now nice and simple, just for you to follow. I don't want to go into too much complicated details. A nice simple one this week. I know in the past couple of weeks we were very going into lots of detail for the exhibition paintings. So I just said I'd take it handy, nice and handy this week. Nice, easy to follow techniques. So you can see now why I put a dark colour on here first, because I was planning ahead. Some yellow with some red. Let's get some nice rich colours in there. And you could even do some little flicks. Look. flick some paint around here and there, that helps. Little grasses. And you can see now how much we have done already. Now I want to make this nice and dark just along here, so I'm going to go into some burnt umber with the corner of my fan brush, and I'm going to just dab at a slight angle and kind of fade it off then up into the bank here, you see? And let's try a little black down at the very bottom. And we go along here with some of that dark colour. So you can see now we're forming the bank coming up here. It's lovely, isn't it? That looks quite nice. So let's leave it at that for now. We can add some little details of leaves and stuff like that later on. No worries, no problem. I see a nice bright orangey colour around there. I might try and put that in with the fan brush. So I'm going to dip this now into my turpentine once and give it a good dry on the tissue, on a paper towel, taking off most of the colour. There. Now there's still a lot of colour on it, so don't worry too much. Let's get this lovely, this kind of an orangey red. Let's take loads of cadmium yellow and a touch of cadmium red, and I want to go in here and just put a couple of dabs here and there with the fan brush, just to suggest little bushes and things like that in the distance. Let's try some burnt sienna too. Yeah, look at, oh that's nice, I like that. Because we've all little bushes and trees and all sorts of things, don't you, here and there, popping up. There, that just adds a nice little touch of warmth into the painting. And just some yellow on its own as well. Again, keeping it nice and easy. Easy techniques. There we go. Right, let's put that down and let me look at the time on the screen. We have 34 minutes, we're doing fine. Let's get the water in. This is the exciting bit, isn't it? Some water now with some nice misty reflections coming down. That's going to be fun. I think I will take my original brush that I used. I'm going to give it a quick clean. And I don't want any yellow or any greens on this now. Just a nice, there we go. Alright, that'll do. Let me get some fresh tissue. There we go. Kitchen paper. And give it a good dry. And we now want to soften this colour down here. So I'm going to make a colour similar to this. Now let me put some white on my palette, because look, this is all real time. This is all, you know, done in real time. There's no editing or anything like that. If I run out of paint, I run out of paint. Let's take some white and let's take a touch of blue and let's take a touch of black, just with a couple of hairs of the brush, that's all. Look, and I'm not going right into the colour. And let's pull that across here now. I almost want to soften it into the sky, but at the same time I want to separate the sky and the water. They're separate entities. I don't want it just to blend completely in, if you understand what I mean. So I'm going to make it slightly darker on the bottom. So let's take more blue, more black. And pull that across there. See what I mean? Now I'm going to dampen my brush at this stage because it's quite dry. Just very slightly, just on the corner of the brush. And that's still too wet. Okay, I'll give it a good dry now just to get most of it out. And some black and some blue. Lots of white, because the white will thicken this up very quickly. And a touch of cadmium red, more cobalt. Put this across. It's very thin and watery now. Well, it's not watery, but it's like a thin cream, if you understand what I mean. It's not thick oil paint at all. It's quite thin. And just go right in here now with this. Let's take some more blue. Oh, the blue is quite nice, isn't it? I like the blue. The hint of blue is nice, it complements these colours. And let's go right in here with this. By the way, you can use a smaller brush if you're more confident. I'm just quite used to using these big brushes for a lot of this kind of work, you know. But you can use the smaller brush if it's easier for you. Don't be worried too much. So let me stand back now and have a quick look at that. I need to bring it up slightly, don't I? Very, very slightly. What I might do is take a little blue and some white, and I might just go across there and create some light. How's that? Just that little bit of light off in the distance. And we could even do the same here as well. In fact, you know what we can do at this stage? Let's switch brushes. Let's go to our slightly smaller flat brush. You can use your little stubby green brush as well. Let's try that. The medium green stubby brush. Give it a good dry, nice and dry now, a dry brush, clean dry brush. And let's take some white and a touch of the cobalt blue. And let's go in here and create some light. Some light hitting the water here and there, look at that. Just like that, nice and easy. That's not difficult, is it? I'll mix another bit. And let's try a couple of little flicks here and there. Lovely jubbly. I like that. And also I want to reflect this kind of light area into that water as well. So for this I'm going to take a touch of naples and plenty of white. There's probably 90% white, 10% naples yellow. And let's just put a hint of that light coming down there, you see? It's just kind of pushing its way down into the painting, isn't it? There, that's fine. That is fine. Now I'm going to take my soft blender brush, or my makeup brush, as it's better known, and I'm going to soften some of this back in with the sky. Just very gently. And even off in the distance we can soften those to the water with the land. You could soften those together as well slightly if you want, because it's a misty scene. It's supposed to be nice and soft. There. How's this looking? Let's get some reflections in. And for that, the reflections, I'll start with a small brush and I will indicate some of the tree trunks with a dark grey kind of a colour. Let's just take that bit of grey that's on the palette. It's a medium grey, and I put a touch of pink with that because they're kind of pinky, aren't they? And let's just suggest, now it's a bit lighter still, I'll suggest some of those just very loosely. Very, very, very loosely. Like so. And I will use another brush. to get some of this colour, which was, let's take some crimson and a little touch of yellow and a touch of brown. And I'm going to put a touch of white into that just to soften it. So we have a very pale kind of a pinky brown. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take most of that colour off my brush. So I have only a touch of that colour on my brush now. And I'm going to put a hint of that here and there. See? Just a hint. And I'm going to leave it at that, pull them down gently. And then across. So how's that for some nice soft reflections? Now at this stage, I will take a little touch of white with my palette knife. Now it's not pure white, but it's a very bright colour. And just go along the river bank just here and there. And just add 1 or 2 little ripples here and there. Just to give it a little bit of a sparkle far off. That'll do fine. I'm happy enough with that. Next, let's go and let's do some nice big trees here, shall we? Let's get some nice big trees put in. Let me get a big brush. A big round, or you can use a big flat as well if you want. I'll use this big round brush. It's a number 5 round. Okay, dampen that, dry it on your tissue, and let's go into some burnt umber. And let's take a touch of black. Now again, I'm making this damp so that it moves easily on the paint here. So let's try that now. Black and brown, and we have a big one coming across here, don't we? Lean right down hard on your brush, out of the painting. And let's make this nice and thick now, because we can do some nice knife work on this in a minute, or some nice nice brush work even. Get some nice bark on here. And remember, it's always going to be thicker at the bottom, isn't it? So make it nice and thick, fine thick tree trunk on it there, look. That's one. Dampen your brush again, and let's go back into some colour. Now I know they say, you know, the general rule is thick over thin, so because this is thin, I should have very thick paint, but I'm making the paint slightly thinner with some turpentine, just to help it flow much easier across the paint. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Okay, you see? It just helps it flow that much that bit better on top of the thicker paint. Now I'm still mixing a little, but it's alright, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I'll leave it at that, and I'll put this brush down, and I will take another small pointy brush. It's a size, there's not even a size on it, I think it's a size 2. A size 2 or a 3. Small pointy brush, any pointy brush you have. Let's get some nice texture on these now. Let's take some burnt umber, and in downward strokes put little flicks of burnt sienna. God above, what am I doing? I'm all mixed up today. My apologies. Burnt sienna. Put some flicks of burnt sienna, rich burnt sienna, through that colour, all the way down, look. Let's do the same on this one. Short, little, flat brush strokes, little flicks of paint. Nice thick paint now on this, okay? Rich thick paint just on its own, no thinners. And what I'm going to do now is start darkening the tree as we move around to the back. So I'm going to put the light side on the left and the dark side on the right. So what I'm going to start doing now is picking up some darker colour. So just give that a quick wipe. And let's go directly into some burnt umber. Lots of thick burnt umber on the tip of your brush. And on the dark side, let's put some flicks of that in just along the right hand side. Okay, from the top all the way down. Plenty of thick paint. And you can see now I'm going into my paint after 2 or 3 strokes, because it's wet on wet, so it's going to sort of mix with the colour there very quickly. So I'm just going right into paint every couple of seconds. Let's do the same on the other one behind. And I know some people can find this kind of quite frustrating, that the paint blends in very quickly, but I actually quite enjoy it. That's how I like to paint. I love painting this kind of wet into wet technique all of the time. And once you get used to the idea, it becomes easy. Now I'm going to take some black for the very back of the tree, okay? Real black, dark, blacky shadows down here. Because these trees now will be kind of the focal point of the landscape, so I'm going to concentrate on these for a while. So just keep going into lots of thick black paint, look. So you can kind of see now what I'm kind of getting at. There we go. Looking good, looking good. I must take a sup of coffee. I do beg your pardon. My coffee has gone cold, but look, I don't care. I'll drink it. I don't care. Now, some red. Let's stick a bit of red in there. Cadmium red into that bark. Getting nice, warm, rich, reddy colours on that bark. Look at that. And what I'm going to do then, I'm going to lighten the light side with a little touch of cadmium yellow and a touch of cadmium red. So we're going to have a nice orangey kind of a colour just along the outside edge there, here and there. Look, see, just here and there. And we've all these lovely colours now starting to mix together. Isn't that nice? And I'm quite happy now with this. Naples yellow just along the edge here, just to give that some nice light. Okay, and then we're going to start putting some nice branches in. Will we do that? Let's have a bit of fun so with some branches. Let's take a small brush, and with that brush now, and let's go up here into this very dark colour, so some kind of a blacky brown colour. So some lamp black or ivory black, whatever you have, and some burnt umber, and loads of turpentine. Lots and lots and lots of turpentine. And let's just start putting in some branches here and there, okay? And remember, wiggle the brush as you're going, okay? I've never seen a completely straight branch in my entire life. Okay, maybe one or two here and there, but you know what I mean. Branches bend in all sorts of directions. Up, down, left, right. Just go mad with your brush, have a bit of fun. Don't be afraid of ruining the painting. I'm coming down into the painting look from above. So you can imagine that this tree is coming out of the painting and falling back down into the painting. Look at that, let's go crazy, look at this. Don't worry, it's only a bit of paint. And if you even hit and miss, it doesn't have to be a solid line. You can kind of hit and miss here and there, see? Little flicks of the brush, that's all. And let's put a nice thick branch off it there. And a couple coming down here. Again, wet the brush, put more paint up there. Let's get lots of wet paint. And maybe a touch of red. And we can even bring one down across in front of the tree. They just grow everywhere, don't they? And we'll bring a few off over here. Now I don't want to cover these nice trees in the distance too much, so I'm being careful with those. There. How is that? How is that looking? And I hope you're following me along now with this, in your own way, in your own time. Just remember, pause the video every now and again. If you want to study it a bit more and see what I'm doing, just press pause and follow me along that way. Just have a bit of fun, that's the most important thing, okay? I keep saying it and I keep banging on about it every single week. In every single tutorial, you're probably saying to yourself, would you ever be quiet and stop saying, have fun? But look, it's the truth. Have fun. Don't be shy. Enjoy what you're doing. Now, I'm putting lots of wet paint over here because it's quite wet. There's lots of thick paint over here. So I'm going to just go into some black on its own. Some nice black paint. And bring a few in here on this side, and of course that will push all of the other colours back into the distance, won't it? So just remember, if you're doing stuff like this, work like this, you know, branches and stuff like that, make it nice and thin, and it will go over the paint much easier. If you try and put lots of thick paint on top of thick paint, it will just kind of mush together and get very, very messy. So for fine details like this, make it nice and watery, and it will cover much better. Alright? Just try it. Okay, let's let it like that now for a moment. What I'm going to do is add some shadow to the back of these, and quite simply with my fan brush. Let's take some cadmium red, again, the corner of the brush, cadmium red and some black. And I'm just going to bring a little shadow off of those tree trunks there. Just dab, 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 dab. Just like that, and soften it into your tree trunk as well. And let's go with this one. Nice strong shadows, look at that. That was easy, wasn't it? All we're doing is dabbing. And all of a sudden we have shadows, don't we? And these are what bring the painting to life. I think they bring the painting to life, really. They really do. So we have some shadows there. Let's put some little watermarks just around here. Let's take a little white and let's just put a couple of little wiggles here and there, just at the waterline. Now what I must do is just fix this area. I need to add some bright colour just to this area here. Okay, just to separate it again from that bit of land, from the water rather. So let's just go along here. That's fine now isn't it? Look. Now, that's all I wanted to do. And let's just put a couple of little squiggles here and there. And just start to drag the brush across, just adding some nice ripples to the water, just to give it a bit of life, that's all, if anything else. And create a little movement as well. Isn't this nice and fun now and easy to do? A nice easy landscape. How about that? That's my chair. I apologise for that. My chair is getting caught in something on the floor here. Next up, I'm thinking some foliage. And what about the knife? Should we try the knife for some foliage? Yes? Now I could try this knife for a change. This is one of the normal standard palette knives. I normally use this one just for water lines, that type of thing. But yeah, we could do something like this now for foliage. Let's take some burnt sienna with some yellow. And let's just add some of that here and there. Okay, just like so. Now let me get some more yellow. I've run out of yellow here. I want to put a lovely kind of an orangey colour up here. And I'm going to take some cadmium yellow, a good dollop of that, and a touch of cadmium red, not too much. I won't mix it too much, look, just like a marbled effect. And let's go mad and just scrape that on and dab it on here and there, see? Nothing too fancy. You know, whatever, I don't care, I'm just going to lash it on, just like so. Look at that, isn't that lovely? Let's take a touch more red, let's add a bit more red to it, nice and autumny. Yeah, that didn't take long, did it? Now I want to put a nice little bunch of them. A nice little bunch of this colour in one particular area. Let's try some of that just here, yes? So it's like little clumps of leaves here and there. Scrape a little bit more yellow. Let's try a little bit of it here. I'm just kind of flicking and dabbing the palette knife, that's all. We'll add some dark colour in there as well. Isn't this brilliant? Look how much fun we're having, huh? Look at this. Absolutely fantastic. And all just done with a little palette knife. There's no technique to this, just go around and scrape some paint on wherever you like. Just have a bit of fun with it. Let's go. And we can put some across the floor as well, because of course there will be leaves on the floor. There we go, just dab it and scrape it and all sorts of stuff. Just create the impression of a very busy floor, that's all. Lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff falling down. Put a bit much on there, didn't I? But look, we'll fix that. Let's just go along and dab across on top of it. Pick it up, move it around. There, I got out of that mistake alright, didn't I? And let's add a touch over here. Lovely jubbly. Now you can make it a bit denser up here if you like. Let's create a nice dark spot. Let's take some burnt umber and cadmium red, and let's go up here and create a nice dark spot up here. Plenty of red in this now. Red is your friend for autumn. Just grab your palette knife and go for it. Don't be shy. There, how's that? Now let's take a small pointy brush and just for those little stray ones out on the edge, let's just put a couple of little dabs, little flicks here and there for those. There we go, very nice. So how was that? That didn't take long now, did it? I just put a couple falling to the floor. Look, here and there. And we do have a big patch of green, don't we? Should we put the green in? Yes or no? I'm really not sure. We could try it. Let's try it. Let's take some cobalt blue, some yellow. I'll take a touch of red just to warm it up slightly. And I need more cadmium yellow again. And it's a kind of a spiky plant, isn't it? There's a lovely spiky plant just there in the front. So let's see if we can do this now with our palette knife, yes? This is a nice challenge for us. Give that a quick mix. And let's go. Let's do this. Just move this a second, looks like I can just see. Can you see that? You can? You can, can't you? There. And that, I would say, is okay. Just add plenty of colour to it. And with my pointy brush then, I might add one or two small details to this, one or two little highlights. How about that? Let's take some cadmium yellow with naples yellow. And just put a couple of flicks in there. Just add a bit of light to it, look. Just here and there, don't worry. And we could put a few little green pieces sticking up elsewhere. A few there. And we could put a couple, say, along up in the distance here. Just little patches of green, just to suggest that there's a few here and there. Nothing too dramatic, okay? I want to keep this nice and fresh and, you know, easy. I'm going to put some black here and there just for a bit of shadow on this. Just in the bottom here. Now, how's that? What's that looking like? We have one more thing that we could do. Put something out in that water. Something, anything at all. What about someone on a boat? Someone sitting in a boat. Now, when I say that, I don't mean in colour. I mean something in the shade. So something in a very shade kind of a colour. Maybe a grey. Let's try a grey. Tiny bit of black there, a bit of white. Let's try and put someone on a boat out here off in the distance, yes? Let's see what happens. I'm just using my imagination here now. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's go with that. A little bit of a reflection perhaps. And let's just darken it slightly so that it can be actually seen. And let's put somebody in the boat, the outline of someone at least, and perhaps a little string coming from the boat. Perhaps he's fishing, or perhaps he just anchored, or I don't know, reading a book or something. Let's just put a little line coming off the boat like that, and suggest a few little details here and there. Look, a little bit of a reflection also, and I'm going to put a touch of white then just here and there. Look, how's that? Let me zoom in here and show you what I did. There, isn't that nice? Off in the distance. Now you could, I suppose, like, you could add a touch, maybe a touch of burnt umber or something, just to complement the trees perhaps. How's that? Just a little touch. And we just go across here. I show you all of this lovely trees in the distance, and you can see how easily they were done. It was just a couple of dabs with the brush, and we have a hint of reflection there. And we moved along to our trees off in the distance, again just dabbing with the brush. Now I might make these trees darker, just in the shadow, just a bit of black maybe. Just a tiny bit of black down the back of them to make them stand out that bit more. And our little grass and bits of leaves here and there. Okay, nice and easy. And we did some lovely knife work as well. So that's it. Isn't that lovely? So I think that is a success. Let me just darken some of these trees to show you what I mean. Okay, some black and a little couple of flicks of black just here and there. You see? No, that's fine. That will do. Job done. Let me turn the camera and let you see me and we'll go through. Now, thank you very much for joining me. Is that still recording? I think it is. Let me check there. Yes, it's still recording. I thought it stopped recording for a moment. Thank you very, very much for joining me this week. I hope you had some fun. I hope you got some inspiration, some tips, some hints, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me paint this. And I hope you've enjoyed me showing you the exhibition as well. I'll keep you up to date every week as I go, if anything has sold. So thank you very, very much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. I have another beautiful painting coming for you patrons out there. A gorgeous painting of like a mountain scene with a waterfall coming down. So that's coming in the next day or so. So that's to say thank you for all your support, and indeed thanks to everyone for all your support, all my subscribers, for your lovely comments, for your lovely suggestions, hints and tips as well also that I get from you. So keep them coming. Anything that you want to know, if you want to show me your work, send it to stephenconway12@gmail.com. You can see all the links in the description and on my main page as well. So pop over and take a look. So thank you very, very much, and I will see you next week. Have fun painting. Goodbye.